and this is just going to blow every single self-development business guru's advice out of the water for just a moment. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today what I wanted to do was talk about 2020 because let's face it, 2020 so far has been an interesting year. Definitely a challenging year. What I will say is 2020 is one that we will always remember. There is so much opportunity for education, for growth, and for moving towards a more accepting and sustainable future. However, absolutely does not mean that on an individual level right now, for so many people, it is an extremely scary, uncertain, and frustrating time. Both with the pandemic and everything that is going on with the Black Lives Matter movement. And I mean, here in Australia as well, we started the year with some horrendous bushfires. It just seems like one thing after another. Some of these things are leading towards a more positive future, hopefully. Some of these things are just inducing a really scary time right now. What I wanted to do in this particular video was I wanted to talk a little bit about how on a more individual level, you can still make 2020 incredible. I feel like at this stage we're at, so many people are just feeling frustrated. So many people are feeling like, what's the point? 2020 is going nowhere. I can't plan anything. I can't do anything. I'm not feeling that great. And I get it. I've definitely been through those waves of motion as well. I wanted to give you some simple strategies in this video because I'm a big believer in personal development. Personal development has completely transformed my life. I mean, there were times on a more personal level that I felt the same way that I do now. Like there was no hope, that I had no direction. I didn't know what was going to happen. I was so uncertain and scared. But personal development was the thing that allowed me to turn my own life around. And whilst I don't think that on an individual level, there is a lot we can do for some of the things that are going on in the world right now, other than, you know, the stuff that we've been told, stay at home, wash your hands, wear your mask, all of that stuff. On a more personal level, when it comes to your goals, when it comes to your ambitions, when it comes to your dreams, I 100% don't think that 2020 should be cancelled. I don't think that we should turn around and say, there's no point, there's no hope, let's wait till 2021. I think that today, whatever you're going through right now, if you choose to, if you make the decision, you can still make this year absolutely amazing, or at least amazing. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to share with you some simple personal development strategies that you can use to still achieve your goals, become the very best person that you can be this year, and set yourself on a path that will make next year even more amazing. If you did enjoy this video, I would very much appreciate it if you gave it a big thumbs up. And of course, if you are new, subscribe. My name is Erin, and this channel is all about personal development for female entrepreneurs. But what I will also say is I want this to be an interactive experience. I'm gonna ask you a couple of times throughout the video to pause and leave me some comments below. And for the week or so after I do upload this video, I am going to be coming in the comments regularly. So if you would like me to help you adapt the strategies that I'm sharing to your personal experience, then definitely take those opportunities to comment below and I'll come and I'll give you some coaching. All right, let's jump in. Okay, so the first thing is you have to learn to accept uncertainty and to focus on what you can control. Here's the thing, all day, every day, at the moment, we are inundated with things from other countries, with news, with these scary stories about what's going on with the health of our world, with the economy of our world, with the media of our world, with our world at large. And so much of that can just put us all into this state of pure fear and frustration. The thing is, that is an extremely detrimental state to be living in. The state of stress, it causes us health concerns, and it definitely hinders our ability to achieve our goals. While I'm not saying you want to become totally naive to everything that is going on in the world right now, I am saying that you need to be responsible enough to control your own emotions towards that and possibly your own consumption. You know, I've really made the decision to limit the amount of news that I'm watching, the amount of influence that I'm letting the media have on my life right now. You know, the other day I saw a story where the Australian media had covered a woman making a video about Corona beer, and I'm sure you've seen it. It was everywhere. And the Australian news media covered it as if it was a serious story when the lady recorded it as a complete joke. There is just so much stuff going on right now that is so untrue, that is so scary, and that really will hinder your ability to achieve your goals. So what I will say is, first of all, you just need to accept that this year is going to be a little uncertain. It's probably not the time you want to start planning holidays or planning for the future or really in-depth planning for things that you're going to do next month, because it could change. You can accept responsibility for your own thoughts, your own emotions, and of course your own actions. The news that you consume is totally up to you. Who you're consuming on social media is totally up to you. And as much as you might not think it, how you feel and how you think is totally up to you. So the first thing that I would say is do a little bit of an audit on how your life is panning out at the moment. Are you filling your days, your times, your weeks, your months, your hours with things that are making you feel less than desirable? And if that's the case, of course, you want to stay up to date with what you need to do. You know, I'm back in lockdown here in Australia, and I wouldn't know that if I didn't see it on the news. Limiting the amount of influence that is negatively impacting you is something that's really important. This isn't exclusive to the pandemic, by the way. This is something that is important when, life is running as normal. A lot of people allow the success of others to make them feel bad about themselves. A lot of people allow comparison-itis to hinder their ability to move forward. They say, what's the point in starting a business? There's already other people succeeding in this arena. You're responsible for what influences you. I've really turned my mood for the whole situation around by just filling my mind with positivity as much as I possibly can. Except that it is a little bit uncertain. A lot of people get fears and negative emotions from wishing things were different. And in many cases, that causes things like anxiety, in which I'm absolutely no expert. It's just something that I've heard over and over again. So if you are feeling anxious and uncertain, that's probably because you wish things could be different, even though there's sort of no way to change them. So accept things that are going to be a little bit chaotic for a while, but then take responsibility for your own experience. Now, my second thing is, and this is just going to blow every single self-development business guru's advice out of the water for just a moment. A lot of people say, set big goals, reach for the stars, all of that stuff. I think for a lot of people, that's actually causing the opposite effect right now. A lot of people wanting to leave their jobs so they can travel the world, and yet that's not possible. Or a lot of people are wanting to, leave their jobs and start their business, but maybe their partner has lost their job and they have to stay where they are. A lot of these big, scary, audacious goals maybe are having the adverse effect right now. And so what I would say is, just for the time being, set some realistic goals. Set some achievable goals. Say to yourself, in the next 3 months, I would like to have done 2 days of yoga a week. Or in the next 3 months, I would have liked to put up 3 YouTube videos. Okay, yes, I'm still an advocate for taking massive action and taking responsibility for your own success. Find the line between that and trying to fit in with everything else that is going on. Trying to just push through this whole situation as you would normally, that hustle culture, that hustle mentality, I really don't think that that is healthy right now. I don't think sitting on the couch and just throwing your hands up and saying I give up is healthy either. So try to find your way somewhere in the middle. Still keep taking action. Still keep working towards those goals and dreams. Still keep challenging yourself. Still keep growing and learning and developing and investing where you can. If that looks a little less audacious than it did at the beginning of the year, don't feel guilty about that. The world is in a chaotic situation right now, and much of your time is spent in survival mode. And like I said, of course, you want to limit that as well. But if you now all of a sudden can't hit those big goals that you had at the start of the year, that is okay. The most important thing, however, is that whatever your vision is for the future, you're still taking steps towards that. Even if those are tiptoe slow steps, it doesn't matter, but still keep moving forward. That sense of self-achievement that comes from achieving even the smallest goal will be more fuel than you realize wise to keep moving forward and to direct your energy into something more positive than everything else that's going on. My next suggestion is to focus on the micro rather than the macro. Again, on the goal setting front, a lot of people will be planning for next 12 months, next 3 years, the 10-year plan, all of that stuff. And whilst I still think it's important to have a vision of what you want for the future, again, I think that with the uncertainty of the world right now, that can feel extremely pressure-filled. So rather than saying in 12 months I would want to be doing this, that, and the other, when you have no idea whether on a global scale that's even possible, focus on the micro. Say to yourself on a Monday morning, what can I do to make this week amazing? If you're feeling anxious or upset or frustrated in this moment right now, try to direct your thoughts towards what is going to make me feel good right here in this moment. Taking things down a couple of pegs, it just allows you to find the simplicity in the things that you can control. Like, I have big dreams about traveling and doing all these events and coming and hugging you guys. I mean, I'm probably not going to be able to hug you for years because #social distancing, but that was a big part of my vision, and it really did upset me that I had to cancel my event and that isn't anything that I can do right now. That was pretty much everything I was working towards in my business, but I can't do it, and the acceptance of that has allowed me to focus on things a little smaller. Right now, I'm just really focusing on growing my team and creating amazing content for this channel, knowing that when the world opens up, it will lead to that, but I'm just putting that out there for the moment. I'm just really focusing on what I can control today, tomorrow, right now, next week, and taking it one day at a time. Number 4 is, on the same breath, I would be asking yourself every single day, what would it look like if I was the happiest version of me today? That may look like just taking it easy and watching some movies. That might look like working on your business. That might look like exercising, spending time with your kids. Really intuitively, before you let social media influence you, before you have any other thoughts, the second that you wake up, whether you journal it out, or whether you have a conversation with your partner, or whether it's something that you just do inside, ask yourself, rather than the most successful, the most boss babe, like in the most crushing my goals version of me, I think we're all just trying to get by right now. We really are. And get by feeling at least a little bit of joy in the life that we have in this moment. That all comes down to you and your own personal perception of this world, of course. And so rather than what other people are telling you should do or the media is telling you should think, every day start with that question. What would the happiest version of me do, think, act, and feel today? Some days I wake up and I'm like, I could not think of anything more fulfilling than working on my business or filming a video. And there's honestly other days where I'm just like, really, I just want to move my body today. And there's honestly other days where I'm like, I just want to play PlayStation. Your intuition knows a lot about what you actually need. It's just that most of us don't give the space for that communication to come through. And so to get by right now, asking yourself that very simple question, what does the happiest version of me look like today? What do I truly need today? And whatever comes up, having the courage to trust that. Maybe it's telling you that, you need a green juice. Maybe you're lacking in some nutrients. Maybe it's telling you need some sun because you haven't actually left the house in 3 days, if, of course, it's a possibility for you. Or maybe you need a vitamin D tablet. Whatever it is, just listen to what your soul needs if you want to get esoteric with it in that moment. Because I think if we are living day to day and still taking those individual steps towards our goals and just kind of like getting by, but still challenging ourselves to grow, but also focusing on still trying to make this as happy of an experience as we possibly can, that's going to make the whole time feel so much more manageable. So the next thing is that you need to be able to experience your emotions without accepting them as your new reality. I had an experience in the last week where I just felt shocking. I'm gonna be honest. I'm an extrovert. And my number one value is connection. And so being away from my family, my friends, not being able to do the events like I was going to, all these things that truly are the most important things to me in my life, I'm unable to do at the moment. And finding out that, my suburb was out of lockdown and I could start going to restaurants, and then, nope, you've got to go back into it for an entire month. I can't go to my gym. I can't go to restaurants. I can't do anything. And again, I know a lot of people have it a lot worse than that, but I felt it. However, I didn't accept it. And I shared this on my Instagram, and a lot of people resonated with this. I allowed myself to feel shitty. I allowed myself to have a temper tantrum, about it. I allowed myself to experience the emotions I was feeling without saying, oh, other people have it worse, because that is also a deflection technique, which can really push those emotions down into a suppression. But what you really want to do is just let the emotions come out, however they do. Cry, laugh, punch something, have a shower, have a bath, eat chocolate, whatever you got to do. Everyone goes through their emotions differently, but don't accept them. Don't get stuck in that state of emotion. Don't say, well, I feel like this now and I'm going to feel like it till I come out of lockdown or till this happens or the world opens up. Because like I said, we don't know when any of that is going to happen, and we have to accept that that uncertainty is just the way that life is right now. And so what I would say instead is try to focus your attention towards something else. I experienced that I was feeling bad, but I just simply didn't accept it. I accepted that, okay, this is what I can't do. I accept that. What can I do? My partner and I sat down and made a list of all the things we could do, right from baking things to experimenting, if you know what I mean. But we just made a list of all the different things we could do, and then I started making small steps towards focusing on my business. What can I do? I can use this time to grow my team and make videos, like I said before. I think that a lot of people, and this doesn't just go for emotions and doesn't just go for what's going on right now, so many people just accept that life is the way that it is. I feel the way that I feel without actually taking those positive steps to make that change. It's like with personal development, some people become so aware of their limiting beliefs, of their struggles, of their challenges, of their fears, but how many people actually take the action to remove those from their experience? So know what you know how you're feeling, but take action to feel something different. And then the final one is put down your freaking phone. Honestly, I know I mentioned it a little bit in the beginning, there is no shortage of absolute garbage going on right now. Like I said, the Australian media basically taking a story and pretending it was real when it was absolutely a joke. There is so much falseness going on right now. There's so much important stuff, of course, going on right now. So much of it is just tearing our world apart and creating this extreme sense of hopelessness. If you are feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm starting to give up on the world, I'm starting to lose faith in humanity, some of the things that you're seeing of people, in the streets screaming at each other and all of this stuff about, to wear a mask or to not wear a mask, and if all of this is just getting a little bit too much for you, don't feel bad by taking a step back. Whatever side of the fence you sit on, it absolutely doesn't matter. Your experience is your experience. And what I will say is that you still have goals, ambitions, you still have a purpose on this planet, you still have a life to live, a family to care for. All of these things are seriously important, but if you are taking up 90% of your mental capacity with everybody else's opinions, experiences, and all of this stuff, there's no room for you to grow personally. And so what I will say is, if you really want to still make 2020 amazing, obviously have those goals, take that positive step forward. Another thing I will say is make sure that you do have a support network around you. Don't be afraid to just step away from it all for a little while, to regather your own sense of optimism, to regather your own sense of purpose, and just to connect in with that intuition of what is truly going to make you happy right now. Do a digital detox, step away from your phone, delete Instagram, delete Facebook, delete Twitter, unfollow people, mute people, block the news ads. I'm just obviously in a state of not in very much agreement with a lot of the media coverage at the moment, as I think you can tell, but I just think that you've got to take care of you. Of course you want to do your part for the world at large, and as I said, keep educating and growing, but that can only come from you being in a positive mental state. I know this video is a little bit more focused obviously on the pandemic and everything that's going on, but I know for so many people that's just such a big part of their experience. I'm going to continue to create videos around obviously planning and goal setting and building your business and all of this stuff. But I think we have to get to that place of neutrality first. I think we have to learn how to manage what's actually going on before we can build from that space. I feel so many people have dug themselves into a hole in the ground and are trying to reach the top of the mountain from that space. You've got to get to that ground level first. You've got to get to that space of acceptance. You've got to get to that space of clarity first. And then from there, it's so much easier to refocus back on business, on goals, on health, on life, rather than, like I said, trying trying to make that huge leap from the bottom of the emotional scale to the top. If you have any questions, so what I wanted you to do, I didn't actually get to the point where I said pause the video, but right now I want you to take some time to just share your experience with me below. You know, are you still trying to build your business? How has this affected you personally? I mean, if you don't feel comfortable sharing it, you are more than welcome to message me on Instagram, but I think it's really good when we all do share in a public space. It makes you feel less alone when you know other people are going through the same thing. So share with me below what's going on, and I will offer my advice where I can. Some things I'm absolutely no professional in, but where I can, I will offer my advice, especially from a personal development, mindset, and business perspective. All right, that is it for me. I really hope that it does help to create some sense of optimism for you. There is still hope. 2020 still has 6 months, and as we've seen, a lot can change in 6 months. So let's hope that, you know, it is for the positive, but at least on an individual scale, you definitely can make that so. All right, that's it for me. I love you so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.